July 5th, 2016. So this one here is a whole lot of olives, which is really cool. I've also just eaten a Greek salad full of olives, so it was definitely a big theme today. If I was to come up with a title for this post, and I do get to kind of do that because it's a blog, I would probably say that this would be the day of the dogs. You may be able to hear amongst the crickets the sound of dogs. It's been all day. It's my first day in Greece where it has been filled with dogs. When I got up this morning, got up nice and early, had my breakfast, and then walked over to, hey, so I made it to Olympia last night. Yay! So, so I did wake up in Olympia, and then I wandered over to the ruins, and it was probably the first place in Greece where I've actually connected with the ruins themselves. Like, I actually felt like, wow, this is really unbelievably cool. And it really was. Like, I got to walk around. I pretty much had the place to myself. I walked all around all of the ruins. I went into the stadium and did a bit of a run. Like, I ran in the first Olympic stadium ever, and the birthplace of the Olympics. I walked in a place where every single time there's an Olympics, they start the lighting of the torch from this very place. It really is the birthplace of the Olympics, and it's still entirely relevant. And it is so cool. Like, the ruins are in a lot better condition than a lot of the other ruins that I've seen. So you could really see like all the columns and the fountains that come down from above. And I mean, not that there was any water in them, but you could still at least see where these things were happening, instead of just having to use my imagination and going, oh, there was a fountain over there 2,000 years ago. So when I first arrived at the ruins, I went to go buy my ticket, and there was this little tiny dog that was sat under a tree, and the moment she saw me, she got up, she bounced on over to me, and she just kind of, like, she was just so adorable. And so I spent some time with her, and she just wanted belly rubs, like endless belly rubs. And so she ended up following me around for a lot of the time in the ruins. So I did take a picture of her, and I'll make sure that I post that to the blog as well. Very soon after, so I only spent probably an hour walking around and checking out Olympia. And then I walked to the bus station, the bus stop, and then caught the bus into Pyrgos. And then from Pyrgos, I had another hour wait for the next bus. So I wandered around and checked out some places that I hadn't already seen there. And then caught the onwards bus to Patra. And then that took, I want to say it was several more hours. So it was about an hour from Olympia to Pyrgos, and then a few hours from Pyrgos to Patra. And I really, like, every day is just such a learning experience for me on the buses. It's just mistake after mistake after mistake. It's learning the hard way. But I'm actually, like, I know that I'm learning because today I was getting really buddy with the station masters. Like, those are like my key people now. If I can break bread with the station masters, and because they can do all the translating for me, they can and really, like, those buses they're never marked, and they're never marked with the right things, and the bus, like, everybody's really super friendly, but the buses never leave on time. They never leave on the platform that I believe it's marked for. So, and the stations, like, especially in Patra, it's really, really busy, and there was just buses coming and going, and so I know that I have to make friends with the station master to get help, because it's very, very difficult, and because there's so few buses to the places that I want to go, yeah, I don't want to miss them. If this was like the Philippines or Indonesia, I'd be like, oh, it's okay, another one will be around in half an hour, and it's okay to make a mistake. But here I feel like the fewer mistakes that I can make, the better, and the faster I can learn from them, the better. Right, and on that note, so I'm on a bus from Patra onwards towards Delphi. I had been told when I got to Pylos that there was no bus to Delphi and that I'd have to go to the place where I am now, and I don't know where I am. I really don't. I've totally forgotten the name, and I should know it because I have made it my life's mission to get here. So I was on a bus to where I am, and the ticket was marked with the place, and it was all like in Greek lettering and everything. So I found out what to actually call this place. Not that that helps me right now because I can't remember it. But I could at least get on the bus and Google it. And so Google it I did, and I sat on the bus for, it was probably about 2 hours, and we're outside of the town/city, and it stops, and two people get off, and I'm like, oh, well, I know, Google tells me that there's a bus station in this town, city, and so it would be logical, because it's done it so many times before, where the bus goes into the village or town, goes to the station, and then continues on its merry way. Like, I have done this probably 50 times with every single town and village that I've gone through. And there were 2 entrances into the town, and he didn't take the main first one. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's fine. He'll take the second one, just like has happened before. And he shoots past the second one, and I'm thinking, oh no. And so I sat there and I thought, okay, options, what am I going to do? And then I made my way to the front of the bus, and I tried to talk to the bus driver, and the bus driver didn't speak any English. So there was another passenger up at the front, and so she kind of helped me translate. But meanwhile, like, the bus driver is doing his bus driving thing, and I'm saying, oh, that I was meant to get off back there, and so she's translating this, and then so he pulls over the bus, and everybody on the bus is going, what, this is unscheduled? And then so like, by this time we're so far past the town and the city, right? Like, it's off in the very, very, very far distance, and we're off on the side of the road. And what does he tell me? He goes, he says, so I said, well, where's the next stop? Because I was thinking, I'll just take another bus going back in the direction I came from. And I said, so where's the next stop? And through this passenger lady up at the front, he says, oh, it's an hour down the road. I'm like, oh, not for this guy, it's not for this guy. And so I got off the bus in the middle of nowhere, and when the bus driver was like, oh, it's an hour up the road, it's the next stop, like, people on the bus were like, oh, like, because they knew that I had missed my stop and that it was so far back, and they knew that to go forward wasn't really an option, so they had it figured out, like, I was going to get off the bus, and so that I did, and yeah, so like I said, I was left in the middle of nowhere on the highway, which leads me to very quickly say some of the things that I'm incredibly thankful for today. One of them, there's so many that I was thankful for today, but one of them is my shoes. So there was a point when I left Chongqing, and I was on my way out the door, and I had my jandals on, and I was ready to go. I was like, oh, it's going to be hot, it's going to be beautiful, I'm ready, don't need shoes, I can do this. And then something in the back of my mind just said, just bring them along anyway. And they really do take up like half of my day pack. And so I was really, really hesitant to take them. But I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to take them anyway. And it was just that gut feeling. And I'm so thankful that I made that decision to take them along. Because there's been so many times where jandals just would not have worked. And being dropped off kilometers away from this town in the middle of nowhere, and I had shoes on my feet, and I thought, if I didn't have shoes on my feet, I'd be pretty cranky right now. But because I did, off I went, just singing along my merry way down the highway, and that was all because of my shoes. Right, so that was one of the things that I was super thankful for today. The other thing was, there was a bit of a silver lining. Like, it was, despite the Greek sun just pouring down on me on this highway, I saw so many things that I never would have because I was walking and not on a bus or a plane or a train. So I'm pretty sure I have now seen, like, everything, every piece, yeah, that'd be the right word, every piece of Greek wildlife. Like, anything that has ever lived in Greece, like any of the animals, anything that's living, I saw it. I saw on the side of the road, and I feel bad for laughing. But there was a lot of roadkill, and much like other parts of Greece where all you see is the decaying ruins of something, that was like my trip today walking along the highway. So that was a good little introduction to Greek wildlife. The other thing that I never would have experienced is gypsies. I'm pretty confident that they were gypsies because I said hello to them, and they were living a happy little gypsy life in their little gypsy caravan things. And I was walking through all these little villages, and there were these gypsies, and that was really cool. So by the time I made it into the place that I'm in right now, there was this big market. Like, they had closed down one of the two entrances into town to create this big, I'm gonna guess it's a night market because they were still setting up for it. But yeah, so there's this crazy market, huge big boulevard, and so I walked all the way through it. I could not find the bus station. Like, Google told me the bus station was here, and the bus station was not there, it had moved. And so I met a lot of locals, because when Google lets me down, it's all about the locals. And I must have met probably 10 people. I think it's like Greek people. I shouldn't be relying on English, I know this, but there's been a lot of confusion between translating from Greek into English with lefts and rights and distances. Like, they get, when they're speaking in English, I've had a lot of people say left when they meant right, and right when they meant left. And one lady told me it was like 500 kilometers away, and I was like, no, it's not. It can't be. It just can't be. I'm not going to walk 500 kilometers to a bus station. But I took it, obviously, that it's 500 meters. So yeah. So I ended up, it took me 2 hours from when I got dropped off on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere to actually finding the bus station and walking around. And then I found it, I bought my ticket, I'm on an 8:15 bus into Delphi, so I should be into Delphi tonight, which also gave me, like, there was a 2-hour wait between when I bought my ticket and when the bus leaves, which is fairly shortly, 15 minutes. And so I had an amazing Greek salad, and it was so stupidly cheap, and they gave me bread, and they were lovely and so warm and friendly, and I nearly gave them hugs when I had to go. They were that friendly and that lovely. So here I am, yes, in this olive grove, and oh yeah. So tomorrow, 1 minute left. Okay, so for tomorrow, I'm hoping to spend the morning in Delphi and to check out the ruins there. And then back on another bus, up to Meteora, where I should have like a whole day up my sleeve before I need to head back to Athens to meet up with Camille and catch the flight out to Santorini. I'm actually really looking forward to having some time in the Greek islands where I can just sort of sit down, maybe in Santorini, and do nothing. Just like sit there by the pool or the beach and just hang out and just not have to go anywhere and just relax for a little bit. It would be, I mean, it's been pretty relaxing aside from walking a lot, but it'd be nice to just not have to do anything. So at least a day or two of that would be awesome. Yeah, what a day. What a day.